Don't think that all of this money is coming in at once, though. Do you really believe that? I mean, have you seen Jeff Bezos buy any Bitcoin since Saylor left? I haven't seen anyone buy any lately. Okay, so here's my theory on what's going on, what's really going on. Fred Krueger is going to talk about how the prices of XRP and many other cryptocurrencies are likely to change today. As the digital world changes, billionaires, big businesses, and a lot of other people are getting more and more engaged. And just quickly, I want to say that BlackRock has already hedged their bets against a few cryptocurrencies. I will talk more about these later in the film. Keep an eye out for that. Let's pay close attention to Fred Krueger first, though, because he has some very important things to say. Press the like button for everyone to see it. Let's start. They were not there, so they did not notice, right? But in the end, I do believe it is a strong belief. I believe it is a strong value offer. I do believe that everyone will get there in the end. And I believe that the power of law is the reason why this idea is growing so quickly. I don't agree with Saylor about this. He said something like, if 6 billionaires like me buy it, yeah, I get it. 6 billionaires buying Bitcoin won't make it go up in value. Will go up because, 10 million people have chosen to invest their money in the world, not just 6 billionaires. The long tail tells us why stocks went up and not just because one guy bought them. The world is now putting their money into the S&P 500. So I don't think it's as much as we want to say it's Argentina, El Salvador, Elon Musk, or Saylor. People are more important than anything else. Joe on the street is more important. I think the normal American is the most important thing right now. That's the most important thing. Getting the average American with a 401k to invest some of their money in Bitcoin. That, not these millionaires, is likely to be the main thing that drives it. Gen Xers and boomers like me have all the money because we work together. There is a lot more money between us than between the sailors. Do you get what I mean? And yes, the richest 1% do have a lot, but the next 9% really, the richest 10% of Americans own 90% of all stocks. So that's where those things go. How do those 10% of people, the stock owners and real estate owners, change their minds? What does it mean to them to say, hey, I'm getting old. This is what my son Joe Burnett says. I should buy Bitcoin. I might do what Joe tells me to do instead of what my dad would have told me to do. A lot of us don't see it, but guys like Larry and I do. So I think it will work no matter what. And I just tell everyone to get on the train and then just stay on this train whether you want to trash them or the model. I don't mind if you trash the model. Like if the model helps you, that's great. Look at the picture. For those who wish to, you can believe that everything will go wrong, and you know that this plan may work for you. That kind of thing. It doesn't matter what type it is. The only thing that can make you better off is buying Bitcoin. What I think is going on is kind of this, right? What's really going on? Because I remember that Saylor was at that event a year or a little more than a year ago and talked about what the future would be like. There would be 1 million lightning transfers and people would just send Bitcoin to each other. Anyway, the only thing that will matter in this world is Bitcoin. Any other token or coin would be considered a fake investment, and they would all have to file registration statements or the SEC will shut them down. That was Saylor's position, and I think of him as the giga-fad of Bitcoiners. That was the Bible according to the gospel of Bitcoin. If you remember back 2 years, we went through this ETF phase, and all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, Wall Streeters are coming in and they're going to hold Bitcoin for us. We're not the whole thing anymore, not your keys, not your Bitcoin. Let's forget about that for now. But we're going to let Larry Fink and BlackRock in. We don't like it because it goes against what Bitcoin was meant to do. But it's probably good for the price of Bitcoin. We think it will be fine. So that's good. Okay, many people laughed at me and told me no because they didn't think the ETF would work. Some individuals like Lynn Alden thought that this ETF was not at all interesting. The ETF doesn't matter at all to anyone. For real Bitcoin fans like me, Fediment is a lot more interesting. So I just think about what happened that year. The ETF happened in 2024, but there was also something else that happened that year that Bitcoiners don't know much about. Solana just blew up. In fact, it is a really cool thing. If you look at the numbers, you'll see that Solana had fewer transactions and fewer individual users than Bitcoin did about 6 months ago. It now has about 10 times as many users as Bitcoin. This isn't a coincidence. This isn't the shitcoin of the month. There is a big trend here. This is a very important event in the environment. I think one of the problems with Bitcoiners is that they still hold on to the idea that some things will work, like Lightning or fiat currency, even though these things aren't working at all. They don't seem to work. No movement. This is the exact reason why BlackRock is focusing on projects like XRP, HBR, XDC, and others. As you may know, BlackRock doesn't sell many goods around their winners because they want to get as many of them as possible before most people find out about them. And when the majority does, they'll be in such a strong situation that they'll almost always make a lot of money. That is, BlackRock is currently studying the crypto market in a way that no one else is. They're coming to the conclusion that some projects are much better than others. What's better about them now? Why and how they can be used? You should bet on ones that have a real-world use, improve people's lives, or do something good for society as a whole. That's exactly why BlackRock is betting on XRP instead of Bitcoin. Now, BlackRock only made Bitcoin-related goods because Bitcoin is the most popular cryptocurrency. At that time, Bitcoin was the only cryptocurrency with clear rules about how it should be used, because no government agency was going after it and saying it wasn't one. Now that the rules for the rest of the crypto market are clear, and BlackRock has had a lot of time to gather XRP, XDC, HBR, and other world-changing coins, these ones will also be talked about a lot more. So I want you all to get ready for that. I'm a strong believer that when things really start to go wrong, those projects that actually help people and change the world will really go off the charts. So if you agree with that message, please hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss a movie. See you next time. Goodbye.